None. We're on. Good evening, welcome to the July 17th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. We would all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good evening and welcome to those that have chosen to join us here tonight and those that have chosen to join us via the TV feed. I don't have any announcement. Any announcement from anyone on the board? Sensing none, we'll get right into our appointments. Schedule an appointment for 6 o'clock with our contract deputy, Sean Sanborn, to discuss speeding issues.
Yes.
And kind of what predicated this is a number of calls and or emails to either individual board members or to the link to the town and all that good stuff on. And any back road you want to name, that's really where the complaints have come from. So
yes.
Let's start with that.
Oh, I thought it was because he hasn't caught you yet.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to preface your remarks by stating that when we asked you to come tonight, it was to formulate a plan. It was certainly not an indictment on the effectiveness or the things that the Sheriff's Department are doing at this time, but we just want to try to get more of a handle on the problem, see if we can't get some type of directed patrol activity.
Yeah, I didn't wear extra armor tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Basically, I figured there'd be some questions first, but...
Well, I think the probably the boiling point here is starting to be reached by a lot of citizens in that, you know, what they're seeing is just kind of, in summer exacerbates that a little bit, as we all know, right? The roads
Plus
are dry.
paving, recent
right.
paving that's been done as well.
I have a couple of suggestions, and I can tell you right away what the root of the issue is. It's our population combined with a very inadequate, we'll call it police force for the town this size. I made a couple of copies here. I only made a couple just because I figured you guys could check them out and pass them around. But this is a list of the towns for York County, all the towns in York County, including the ones the York County Sheriff's Office patrols. And on that list, I made this a while ago and posted it on my office door at the fire department. It just shows the population starting from the biggest going down to the least amount. And I think Waterboro is number 10 in population at 7,693. That's what I found somewhere online, just under Buxton. And we are the largest municipality in York County that has no full-time police department, or police force, I should say. So I want to include contract deputy towns like Standish that use their sheriff's office to patrol the whole thing with a contract deputy force. I think they have 4.5 contract deputies, something like that. But that's over in Cumberland County, but I like to use Standish because that's the route they took. They had a police department, got rid of it, and went with contract deputies. Buxton, who is very, very close to us in size, demographics, they have a 10-man police department. You guys have me augmented by rural patrol guys that pass through town when they can and do what they can, but they certainly, as they're doing their reactive patrols, bouncing from call to call to call, they don't have time to get out to Deering Ridge Road, Ospey Hill Road when they have a chance, or when there's a speeding detail, they can do that, but in their normal patrols they can't. I can to a greater extent, but I'm still, a large part of my job here is reactive instead of proactive because of the population, and I'm bouncing around like they are, but at least I can concentrate on the one town. So part of the problem is we have an inadequate police force. That being said, I think the contract deputy program is what's So what year are we at, 8th year or something like
Oh my
that?
gosh, it's gotta be more than that.
It's been, well, the point is, it's been a long time, and there's been no additions to it along with the population. It's in my opinion, it's languished. I do what I can, I try to make a dent, but I think I make a dent in a large wall, and there needs to be more dents in that wall, but that's, that should be addressed in the future, but I just want to, that's the biggest problem. We don't have enough police. Now, I'm going to be tackling this problem pretty much personally, unless we get some speeding. Your county sheriff's office does have speed details out and about, and they direct those to certain towns. And I will be asking the supervisors to give us some more guys for those grants to come out here and hit these back roads. And whenever I get a hold of one of the guys, they call me and say, hey, I'm doing Waterboro tonight, where do you want me? And I tell them, hey, Silas Brown Road, they've been screaming down there. I mean, the people, and cars, but the people have been angry, so hit that. And Weber and Chadbourne Ridge, so I am trying to do that. As far as I go, like I mentioned before, I mentioned this a few meetings ago, last year, I out of the York County Sheriff's Office, I wrote the most tickets. So it's not like I'm not trying to do something. I had a suggestion as far as this goes. Now, we have limited staffing, me, and we have a problem with these back roads. And I mentioned this to John, and I also told Gordon what I was up to and what I had in mind. And this has been in the back of my head for a while, but I didn't think it would be accepted before until enough complaints arose, so I didn't really bring it up before. But I have a plan, and I'll run it by you all and see what you think. So limited resources, so that means we have to make the greatest impact we can. What do you all think is the worst back road in town? My opinion is Deering Ridge Road, because, I mean, as far as back roads go. Let me address the main streets real quick. I also have a huge problem with Main Street between the old Heats and the Dearborn Pit. That is horrible. That 35-mile-an-hour zone is horrible. That's a war zone for me, and I'm losing. South Waterboro is another one. That's bad too. But we're dealing with back roads tonight. But I just want to bring those up. All of Lake Arrowhead, for the most part, that want to head to Portland, if they don't want to go up 117, they cut across Deering Ridge Road in the morning and the afternoons. I do check Deering Ridge Road during the daytime. I came through there today. Midday, it's hit and miss. You never know. I came across today, I didn't see a single car. That's midday, nothing much going on. I think it's the commuter times. And I have sympathy toward commuters because they're going to work. They're going out to try to make money. Now, my style of policing is not, I don't want to point fingers, but I will. It's not Biddeford Police Department style, where you go out and just lambaste the citizens with tickets, because I don't think that's good community policing. I try to stop people and ask them to knock it off, and I get a lot of compliance that way. But unfortunately, we have 8,000 people in town, and it's going to take me a long time to stop 8,000 people and ask them all to slow down. So we need to make bigger impacts than that. My suggestion, and I think this should be an experiment, and we should start with Deering Ridge Road and keep Roberts Ridge Road in for a close second. I've been thinking about that, and I'll get into that in a minute. Don't let me forget Roberts Ridge Road. Because basically what's going to happen is, I think what we do to Deering Ridge Road, some people are going to divert over to Roberts Ridge when the pressure starts coming down. So here's my plan. And there's a few steps to this. Number one, I'd like the speed limit signs moved back, I don't know, about 50 feet from Townhouse Road, because I think it's too close. When you pull onto a road, I think a big mistake municipalities do is they put their speed limit signs close to the intersection. So people are turning onto the road, they're looking where they need to go, and a lot of the time the sign's right here and they don't see it. So I think we should move that back. And I'd like those fluorescent orange flags metal ones, not actual flags. I want the metal ones that are permanent, mounted to the speed limit signs. Because how many speed limit signs do we see every day in our travels? Dozens, hundreds. I mean, we're so used to them, they're the elephant in the room, we just don't notice them anymore. A lot of people just don't notice. And I think a lot of people do know the 35-mile-an-hour sign is there, but I just want to take the excuse away. So let's put some fluorescent, hey, I'm here, here's the speed limit, that's 35 on Deering Ridge, both ends, or at least at the town line over where a line and line is, and put those up. In other states, I've never seen this sign in Maine, but in other states, I've seen signs when you enter certain towns that warn people. It's a big sign, and it says, about the size of a speed limit sign, it says, speed limit strictly enforced by radar. And it kind of tells people, hey, listen up, we're gonna whack you when you come into this town. The town I'm thinking of was horrible for that. We put one of those signs up on both ends too. And I'm just talking about Deering Ridge Road, because there should be an experiment. I want to see what the citizens think and see how it works. And we declare Deering Ridge Road a red zone or a no tolerance area or something to that effect. After that, I would like it posted in the paper. Deering Ridge Road will be a no tolerance zone. If speeders are caught there and stopped by the contract deputy, they will be issued a speeding ticket on the spot. I issue a lot of warnings because, like I said, I try to do voluntary compliance. Deering Ridge Road it's out of control. It's a highway. People are using it as one, and I just know a lot of the time when I pass people on the road, they see me and they're like, oh, there he goes. Now they're behind me and they step on it and they're gone. So unfortunately, I think we need to take a harder stance on this road and go that route. I'm willing to do it. I'm not willing to just go out right now as it stands and go Gestapo on the road and just start hammering people without any warning. It's not my style. I gave out a lot of tickets last year, a lot to the high school kids, because this is the same thing I do to the high school kids. I tell them, I'm not giving you guys breaks. You think you're immortal. You know, you're not going to slow down if I give you a warning. So the only way to get you guys to slow down is fear. Fear of me and me calling your parents. So I'm kind of harder on the high school kids. They've kind of gotten to know that. I think a lot of them do know that. And it wasn't as bad this year. I had a harder time catching high school kids this year, so I think it had an effect in the last few years. It took a few years to get into effect. But, that's pretty much it. And after that, for that road, if I catch you, if I have to stop you out there, then you get a ticket. And we start with that road and see how it works, and we see what kind of feedback we get.
The road review committee right now has counters on both ends of, well, not both ends of the Deering Ridge Road, but on 2 counters on Deering Ridge Road. That data, I believe, also shows speed.
Yeah, they'll be able to pull, they don't want to get into too much detail because they're concerned about vandalism.
My concern is the one that is by my driveway. I negate the speed because I get my mail and I'm going 0 miles an hour when I go over it and then back over it. So
That way the other way.
so that you know, we will have some objective data.
The road review chairman will get in touch with you and give you what he can collect for data.
Okay.
It'll be, they want the counters out for a certain time period so that they've got a good grasp on
It's
what's
commuting
what.
time. I believe it's commuting time. That's when I have the most problems out there.
Well, I think that'll give you a pretty good breakdown of the total count of vehicles per day and the time frames.
It's a lot,
Right.
and it's between 5 and 8, and then in the afternoon between.
And I like the issue. I like the issue of, you know, maybe we get really with some visual aids, right? That, hey, you know, we're
The reality is, 99% of the people that travel that road know it's 35 miles an hour. I just want to take the excuse away, because a lot of people are like, oh, I thought it was 45. Yeah, no.
They also think there's a passing lane
Yeah, the whole thing, the entire thing, yeah.
So maybe a few, especially this, near what used to be the little red schoolhouse field and Betty Mitchell's field and whatnot, those seem to be the drag strips for
It's a war zone.
passing. So maybe some no passing zone signs, I don't know, but
Yeah.
maybe, I mean, I guess,
They know better, once again, with all respects, they know better.
I think the issue is becoming, we're getting more and more requests of, I want the speed limit on my road reduced. You can reduce them all we want. My belief is there's nothing gonna change if there's a sign that goes from 45 to 35 to 35 to 25, right? Other than the fact that when they do get stopped, okay, there's a different penalty, okay? But the fact of the matter is that just by changing the speed limit's not gonna change the behavior, right? So maybe with some very visual aids, right? And as you say, the 2 orange flags by the speed limit signs, and maybe some signs to remind people that, the speed limit is being strictly enforced by radar, maybe some no passing zones. But I think we've got to come up with some, because it's not, may very well be up for discussion as time goes on relative to the size of the detail that happens to be in this municipality going forward, but not going to happen this summer,
No,
right, or this fall.
That's why most effect with what we have. You have me, so I'm willing to do a crackdown of that road and see what effect it has. But I want the public to have ample warning it's going to happen. I want them to, I want the signs up. I'm willing to do a crackdown and really hammer the road. It's distasteful, but I will do it. But I want the public to have ample warning that I'm going to do it.
This strictly enforced signs, there are some on May Street in Biddeford, actually. And one of the things that I like about their signs is not only does it say speed limit strictly enforced, but it also says fine amounts can be, and it shows like the fine amounts on it.
Yeah.
Just the range. And I think, that's really eye-opening. People don't realize that they could get a speeding ticket that cost them upward of $300 in this state. They think, some states you get a speeding ticket in, Massachusetts, I think it's like $70, but they start at $132 in the state of Maine, and they quickly go up. So maybe even something like that signage in Biddeford that's the strictly enforced with the fine amounts. Maybe when somebody sees a dollar sign, that will catch their attention too.
Yeah, that would
It's
work.
got to be like a standard sign from Wink Sign or somebody like that, right? John?
Another thing to do as far as a warning would be a little article or an ad in the paper that says, coming soon, strict enforcement on those people who drive Deering Ridge.
And
Watch for your local policeman because he will give you tickets.
yes.
And if you're speeding there, starting on August 1st or whatever, if you're driving Deering Ridge, and you're speeding, expect to get a ticket.
The caveat of this is be ready to follow up on the Roberts Ridge Road, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna push the traffic.
the big reason people do that is they want to avoid the school zones, especially in September when the school zones become active. They don't want to go through those. They're horrible. That's what people tell me. I hate the school zones. Roberts Ridge Road also bypasses those school zones, and that's also a problem road. Not as bad, but I get a lot of Hollis residents that like to cruise down that hill at a high rate of speed.
It's a shortcut to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
Gordon, you had?
No, I didn't know. Nothing fine, but thank you for asking.
I would actually enforce it for a week of warnings after that, and then just to educate people, and then it would begin. So that's,
Why? Just, if they're speeding, they're speeding.
they are, but if you've ever had the power to stop people with your authority and go up to their window and say, I realize you're going to work, sir, to make money for your family, but I'm now going to take $210 out of your pocket because you're trying to get there without getting in trouble with your boss. I find it distasteful, and I would rather give these people ample warning before I start with this it's gonna be literally a crackdown.
Do you think maybe that if there's action taken by the selectmen, then he's not a jerk, it's that we told him to do this? And you know, you can say, look, you know, well, you might be a jerk.
Yeah.
But it comes from us, and you're just following.
But I think, John, I mean, all we can do is request, right? We have no
Yes.
control over.
Oh, and it comes back to this meeting, it was my idea anyway, so.
But I mean, what we can do is we can.
He's the one that everybody's looking at on the TV screen right now.
John, with all due respect, in reality, most police officers that go out there are operating at the direction of the chief law enforcement officer of the facility or their supervisor. But the end result is the person that's being stopped does not see them, they see him. He's the face before them,
Yeah.
he's the one that gets it, regardless of who is giving the orders.
But still, if we come up with an edict, then he says, hey, look, the Board of Selectmen said to do such and such and such and such.
I'm happy,
and I'm following
as
it.
long as the board agrees with this and thinks it's an idea worth trying, I'm happy with that, John. As long as you say, if the board does not, then I will not do it. I won't do it without this board's, well, I can't do it anyway, I'm not gonna buy the signs and put them out there myself anyway. But,
The other piece of this, beyond writing the ticket, as you know, is going to be people that contest the ticket and go to court and making sure that there's follow-through.
we have a court officer actually, we have a rotating court officer schedule, and I watch my tickets now. I monitor that.
So just making sure that, you know, once things go to court, that they're handled appropriately there as well.
Yeah, my last court date was on a vacation day, and I stayed home and waited for the call. Yeah. None of the tickets got through. It worked out pretty well.
Anything else? The only other caution that I would add is you use the word Gestapo in your presentation, and you should be cautious.
Government already-
That now has a different connotation.
Yeah. It just meant extreme authoritarianism.
Anything else from the board? Thank you, Sean. We'll see if we can stimulate some activity to help with signage and stuff, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions about the plan?
Good.
Okay. And once again, I just want to reiterate, this will be a Band-Aid for a much larger issue, and I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the 2020 Committee Conway School Team 2's progress and final report. Yes, that's you, Tom? Since I don't see anybody else from the 2020 committee here.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Town Administrator. I wanted to bring the board up to date with the progress that's been made by the Conway School. Just as a refresher, the town of Waterboro retained the services of the Conway School. We are fortunate to have not two, but 4 graduate students participate in conducting some research. And the second phase with Team 2 was to produce some graphics that would help people visualize the current state of the villages and what some of the initiatives might be in the future for the future outgrowth of village areas. I was really pleased, as well as the members of the committee, that so much effort was put into this. The investment that we made here at the town level, the students and the school really went all out to capture a variety of different pieces of information. And one of the things that's always complicated in the planning field to understand is the big picture. You know, as we're driving down the streets and we sort of do our windshield surveys of this piece of real estate or that piece of real estate, it's harder to visualize unless you have some aerial perspectives, or in this case, some axiometric or bird's eye type of drawings. So what did this achieve? We were able to collect all that information, clarify some misunderstandings that currently exist out there with zoning, depict what currently is within the village areas, taking it out to about a quarter of a mile to half a mile concentrically, and then be able to explore hypotheticals. Now, in here, in this, you all have a copy that's sitting on your table of the final report. There's, in addition to the aerial perspectives, which are recent aerial photography that depicts some of the build-out in each of the villages, you also have some hypothetical build-outs or hypothetical developments of each of the 4 villages as to what could happen in different types of scenarios. And the purpose for that is, just so that everyone understands, was not to say this is the way it will be. The purpose was to show if a certain area builds out, what does that density look like? And to help other boards, for example, like the planning board, when they go back to revisit updating the zoning ordinance, some different alternative incentive zoning, cluster zoning, commercial mixed-use type of zoning that is absent in the ordinance now, what can possibly happen? So what this does, one of the great opportunities that comes out of doing this study is it becomes a great conversation piece. The committee's next step is later this fall and winter, we'll go to each one of these village areas and announce well in advance for people who want to get together to open up this conversation of how do you want to see North Waterboro versus South Waterboro open up for future development. And what these drawings will help do is it'll help fuel the conversation. For example, if I may use a person who's not here this evening, Todd Abbott took a look at who's a member of the 2020 committee. Todd took a look at the North Waterboro hypothetical. He said, whoa, that's just a little bit too dense for that area, and this landowner is not going to be particularly supportive of building out that type of density. And that's an okay conversation. That's exactly what we want, because it opens the conversation. It helps us bring back to the planning board what are the alternatives. Each village, in fact, should develop differently. It definitely should develop differently. And so this is going to open up some, I think, some very good conversations. I myself, as one of your staff people, was very pleased with the outcome. It's also produced some large format drawings, some 3-foot by 4-foot drawings that are similar to the ones that you have in the booklet that you have before you that we'll be bringing around for conversation pieces. And the town administrators had mentioned recently that we may post those on the wall leading up to the code enforcement office. Again, for people, customers who are waiting to either see Mark or myself, gives them an opportunity to look at those drawings. So we produced some good visuals. I'm very pleased with the outcome, and it will gel very nicely into the next piece of work that the committee is doing on infrastructure, because that's going to tend to be a bit more scientific and a bit more detailed in terms of subsurface systems, so we'll be able to gel that information together. And when you combine the scientific information and these visualizations of what could happen if you had specific types of mixed uses in the village, be able to discover what you can do and what you can't do.
Any questions for Donna?
We also are going to have this in electronic format, so we'll be able to post that so people who want to, the public who wishes to pick this up on the web can do so. Additionally, be sure to bring a copy of this over to our public library so that people who are at the library that want to take a look at it will have a copy of that there. All of the 2020 documents are going to be stored at the library also so that people have access to it.
Steve, I apologize because I've been a bit of a gadfly with the 2020 committee as far as speeding it up. Where's the beef? You know? And the cost. But I looked through this, and the apology is this is really an impressive piece of work here. And I think people see this, and there's a real vision that comes out visually. And so I apologize for, yeah, it's taken some time, yeah, it's taken some money, and it will take some more time, but I really think you got a real fine-looking product.
Would you like to gladify?
Not a glad fly.
We could see the wheels spinning.
I think it's a little stronger than that, John.
Well, John, thank you.
We're on television.
John, thank you for your comment. You know, you're a real gentleman with those comments, and you're a process gentleman too. And I think when this committee started off, we got very wrapped up in the process of all the work that we're going to do. And in fact, it was your conversation stepping forward and saying, okay, it's time to start producing some products here so that we can bring this out to the public. So thank you, because all process has to be driven by product. And so we're now in that product mode, and so we appreciate that you gave us that extra nudge. And I want to thank the whole board and the town administrator for having the faith in the committee to move these things forward. There's a lot of tasks ahead of us, and we're preparing for the town's future. And David, thank you for being so faithful to the meetings. Dave has been at all the meetings. He also, I think he was following in your shoes, John. When the last set of graduate students came in, there were a couple things that were sensitive to Dave, and he brought them forward, and the students went back, did a little bit more work, and so that's what it's all about. You can have constructive criticism and move these things forward. But,
I'm not sure David sees himself following in my shoes, but I like to see that.
So know that we're going to take this forward again on this actual document and the drawings this fall and winter. After we get our next project up and running, then we're going to move right back to this and bring it back up to the public.
Good. Is this the final document here?
Well, there were actually two documents, Gordon. There was this document, and then there was a preceding Team 1 document, which had a lot of the research findings, and they're meant to be companion documents. In addition to that, we have the large format.
Yeah, there's that other bound that we got. That was that other bound document that we got before this, yeah.
And then we requested and were able to get the large format drawings too, which we'll put on display.
Are you ready to announce that we're proceeding with further engineering work?
Certainly, if I may, Mr. Chairman, just a 1-minute update. I know Mike's anxious to get up here.
Let me qualify that. I'm not sure that there's a 1-minute comment in you.
Yeah, no chance of that.
Well, several minutes. Thank you for allowing me to bring this forward. What David was referring to is the next phase that 2020 committee is working on. And we already have an RFP out there, request for proposals, talked to the town administrator, and she suggested that we post it on the MMA site rather than spend a lot of money putting it in the newspapers. Oh, sorry, Tammy. That was the fallback if we didn't get any response. Quite excitingly, I'm pretty excited. We already got 3 responses to the RFP, not actual documents, but we've got 3 inquiries within the first 24 hours of posting that on the MMA site. So that's pretty exciting. That's a particular study that's going to deal with subsurface systems and also their applicability and relationship to business/industrial parks within the community. We're really excited to embark on that. We hope to bring forward to the Board of Selectmen, after our August 13th meeting, probably somewhere in the latter part of August, our recommendation to the board based on the number of inquiries and formal RFPs that we get. So we're moving forward on that. Right after town meeting, we went right out, prepared the RFP, and ready to take on the next step. So we expect to see this sometime towards the end of August, before Labor Day, with a recommendation for a firm that will work with the committee.
Good.
Dave, does that address the points that?
Anything else? Any comments? Further? Thanks, Tom.
Okay, thank you.
Having a delegation, is there anybody here that would like to address the board?
I would. Can I?
That's
Slip
not
into
on,
that
that's
slot?
not already on the agenda? Sensing none, we'll move on. Correspondence quickly. In the correspondence, weekly treasurer's report, Representative Libby's newsletter, letter from town auditors on the management letter and other matters that'll be forthcoming. There's a notice from Howe Howe Technologies, which is, as most of you know, a company in town here. They are working outdoors again non-profit golf tournament. I'm sure you can reach their website or look at the document that came to our attention if you're interested in that. Town attorney's notice on the revisions to the Freedom of Access Act, which kind of is tweaked annually now in every legislative session. Letter from Mariner Tower on the expiration of the proposed easement agreement. There's a copy of a letter from the Town of South Berwick in reference to the York County funding of outside agencies, and a letter of record from the Town Administrator with reference to along Causeway Road. Getting into reports and staff initiatives. Number one, anybody else that would like
Certainly
to?
number one. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I was going to negotiate your.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Could I have
Thank
mine
you.
moved up?
Thank
And
you,
then you can
Mr.
move
Chairman.
yours up?
Thank you. We had a great year last year. Let's start with last year. We had a great year. Certainly, we have a hierarchy of needs in the department, and the top of that hierarchy of needs, safety, is at the very tippity top. Right below safety is safety. We had a very wonderful, safe year. You know, to think that we've got 30 kids next door for 180 school days plus vacation, we're talking 220 days, 30 kids. It's 6 hours a day, not a scratch. Staff, very safe too. I know Nancy has to deal with workman's comp issues and so forth, and I think probably you add that chaos into the mix with summer camp and Funergy and our swim program and our senior programs and everything that we do down at the parks, and to come away with it, scratch-free, staff healthy, kids happy, it's really, really an amazing thing for us. Financially, we had a great year. We came in at a shade under 164K, I think. I don't think that's audited yet, but I believe the records show it's about 164 in revenues. It's about $5,000 below last year's revenues, but it's $14,000 above the estimated revenues that we set at town meeting last year. I think we were probably $6,000 or $7,000 underspent on the budget. So I think when all the audits are said and done, you're going to find us probably $20,000 to the good for a second consecutive year. I believe are those audited numbers in last year's town report? Was those audited already? Town report? So that had us at 18.9, I think, to the good last year. So I think we'll be a touch above that for this year. I know we came down $3,000 at town meeting this year. I wasn't overly crazy about that, but if everything stays equal, and knowing that we budgeted $2,200 for signs and paid them this year, I think probably you'll find that we'll be just fine doing that as well. So let's get into signs right now. We budgeted for all new signs. Many of them are already up. Most of them are done. They're being hung in and around town right now. We had little stuff like keep the park clean, no pets. The do not enter signs down at the boat launch were bleached and faded out. Those are already up. We're really excited to be working with Mad Dog, who's done a great job for us. And he donated a bunch of signs for us to help us out with Old Home Day stuff as well. So we're really excited about that. We budgeted for it and got that tidied up, and that was a nice thing. We had a ton of tournaments at our fields this year, and we've got more to come. We've got an additional baseball season. The Bulldogs team that's based out of the district is playing a 10 or 12 game schedule. They have a fall league now. So Friendship Park's getting used more and more than it ever has, and we're very lucky to have Mike taking care of it for us and doing a nice job. At the beach, we've got Doug LaTulip. I was thinking for a minute. Doug LaTulip, he's our boat launch attendant this year. He's doing a great job. Putting in about 25 hours a week down there. It's been very, very hot. When it's hot, it's very busy. It shows in the amount of trash that we're taking away from there every day, every couple of days. And I'm getting a ton of comments from the public that's down there about how good of a job he's doing. So we're excited to have him. And I just had a conversation with him. We got a couple of shirts. We got some shirts made up for our staff members. And I wanted to present a shirt to Gordon, who did a wonderful job as the chairman of the Board of Selectmen over the last few years and created an amazing Parks and Rec ordinance for the department as well. We're running at about a 9-month lag on clothing, so I wish it could have been sooner, but there you go, my friend. Thanks. Hey, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very nice. We got our drug-free signs up. Gordon helped us tidy up some drug-free zone signs. You find them all over school areas and parks all over the state. I was driving around today and I saw one down in Lyman at some of their parks, and we got those hung up. We got 2 at Friendship, we got 1 at Lyons, we got 1 at the Mill Pond, and we have one we're going to hang at the boat launch as soon as we get our big sign up that's got a ton of words on it. That's we've been working very hard to get that buttoned up. So thanks, Gordon, we appreciate that. Sorry I didn't come through sooner with it, but we wanted to wait till the end of the year. We spent about $700 or $800 right at the end of the fiscal year over at RSD. Always does a great job for us. And we got some hats, we got some shirts for our camp staff, and we got some little collared shirts like this for some of our employees to wear and our friends to wear as well. So thank you again. Camps are going great. We got about 100 kids registered. We're getting a couple of trickle in here and there a few days a week. Our swim program's going well. We're busing kids from camp to swim. We got about 25 kids doing that right now. We got another session starting up on the 30th, Monday the 30th, so we'll have 2 more weeks of swim after that. You can call in and sign up for that. Or you could show up at the pool over the next 2 weeks and register with Amanda and Trish, our swim instructors. Senior lunches are going great. We're doing about 40 meals every week. Lakeside Market is amazing to us. $5 meals. We had stuffed shells the other day, salad, tiramisu for dessert, coffee, soda, ice water. I think we did 39 meals that day. I believe we're having club sandwiches in 2 weeks. And then lobster rolls 2 weeks after that, very popular. Trips, we'll have some trips planned. We want to get ourselves through the summer here. We are going to the museum/castle over in Portland. We've already planned that for November. They light that up for Christmas. We wanted to do that last year, but it didn't work out. And I'll have a list coming up. We'll get it up online. We'll get it in the papers for all of our senior stuff that we'll take care of late summer, early fall. I want to thank the Board of Selectmen and Nancy, the town administrator, for the recent stipend change to the personnel policy for health insurance. It really didn't cost you anything. You got a budget $9 grand to do it. To increase that up a couple of $100 is huge. It's huge for my family. I appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed. So, anything? Gordon?
I hate to sound like a broken record, but did that net in center field?
It did.
It did.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a great friend in George Bennett, who is very active with youth sports. He volunteers basketball with us. He does a lot of coaching in Little League. He runs a couple of businesses local too, mainly Ticks. He actually sprays our fields and he sprays Town Hall, and he does it very cheaply for us. He's an excellent guy, and he's got a boom truck. He actually did 2 things for us this year. He took down some dangerous widowmakers right behind the outfield fence at Friendship Park for free. Volunteered his time to do that, just dropped the logs for us. It was right down the right field line at the Little League Park outside the back fence there. He called me up and said, this tree out there looks like it's dangerous. You want me to take it down? I went, yeah. And he did. And then I called him a few days later and said, I hate to bug you, but I know you got a boom truck, and you meet me at Lyons, and he did that for us as well. So that is up. I talked with the local neighbor over there actually that day, and told her to call me anytime she had any issues. It's been very quiet. Got a very busy men's league down there now that you mentioned Lyons. There's 12 teams down there. They're having a very good time, taking care of the field very well. We had some electrical stuff we wanted to get done there. We got that tidied up at the end of the last fiscal year too. Dennis, something? I saw her hand go up. Have a great night. Okay?
All set?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving along. Discuss vote to allow energy surveys to be conducted by the code enforcement officer, so I'd invite Mark up.
Thank you. It's kind of odd to be talking about heating your home in the wintertime when it's tail end of a heat wave here, but last week I talked about not volunteering as part of my job, but it's kind of altering what I do in my spare time, but I offered to do an energy survey for anybody in town who is their primary house, they live there year-round, and it's not a summer cottage, and it's not something they're renting out to a bunch of kids, but the energy survey is something I devised. I'm an energy auditor, and I used to do energy surveys for folks as a public service for free. And it's just a light version of an energy audit. There's no blower doors, there's no, it doesn't involve the math that you get with an energy audit. There's no infrared cameras. It's just really walking through a home with a homeowner and trying to find where we can reduce drafts, infiltration of cold air in the winter, and just, we look at energy savings for refrigerators, lighting. It's not just all heating. Any way we can save energy, we're going to do that. It takes about an hour per house. We usually start in the basement and walk up through, and we look for air leaks around bulkheads, windows, openings around chimneys that go all the way up to the roof, so you can look up a chimney and you can actually see the roof in a lot of houses. And that causes a stack effect where a lot of the heated air goes up around the chimney. It's also something that should be closed off for fire protection purposes. It's called fire stopping around that chimney. So it's a double purpose. I typically have a bunch of products that can help people seal air leaks. There's different kinds of foams. There's a foam called great stuff you can squirt around the pipes where the oil is delivered to your home. That hole is usually a lot bigger than the pipe. You can squirt around that. You can squirt around any other penetrations in the building. There's another foam you can use. People typically used to install doors and windows, and they would stuff that pink insulation around the frame, and that stuff was never designed to stop drafts, but rather it was an air holder for insulation. So window kits, usually we'll have a couple of window kits to show people how to install those. It's a very simple installation process. You tack it over the window and shrink it with a hair dryer, and you wouldn't even know it was there. That does a great deal for keeping the drafts out of the house in the wintertime. So we'll look at what lighting, we'll look at electricity, and I'd like to bring this point up. Right here at the library in Waterboro, there's a device called the Kilowatt. It's a little device that you can take out like a book. You just check it out for a week, and you plug in the wall, and you can plug your device into that device. It'll tell you how much the electric load is and how much it costs you to run that thing per month, per week, per year. I left on everyone's desk the instructions on how to use that device. It does point out that if you were using an HD DVR device at your home, it has a 30-watt phantom load. These things use power when they're not even turned on. You could be paying $42 a year to have that thing in your house and not even turning it on. Phone chargers are like that. All kinds of devices have ghost loads. Appliances, toasters, coffee makers use electricity when you're not using those devices. So those are the things we can talk about. I know people who have $300 electric bills. I know people who have a $30 electric bill. comparable homes, comparable size. So those are the things we could, with your approval, talk about, and maybe help people save 100 or 200 gallons of heating oil a year, maybe lower their electric bills too. This isn't an effort to take the steam out of Maine's energy programs using energy auditors and energy advisors. If you like what you get after an energy survey, you might go the whole route and then get an energy advisor, have the lower door, have the full-blown work done. If you're ever going to get an energy loan through the Maine State Housing Authority or Efficiency Maine, you would need to have a full-blown energy audit. This is just something we can do to help. And if you go onto the Energy Efficiency Maine website, there's a lot of good programs on there. There's presently a program where if you have an old refrigerator or an old freezer in your garage or in your barn that you're not using anymore, if you call them up, they'll give you a check for $50 and they'll come take it away. Maybe something you haven't used in 10 years, but they want those things off the market and they just want to get rid of them. So I just did that recently for a refrigerator myself. So whether anybody wants an energy survey or not, do plan ahead, get your heating equipment serviced, cleaned this summer. Don't wait till the first frost. Get your chimneys cleaned with a chimney sweep, or get the creosote out and do that stuff ahead of time. Don't wait till the rush is on, because everybody wants their furnaces cleaned in the same week in November. And if you folks would like me to go help the citizens of Waterboro find ways to save money, I'd love to. That way they can save money all year long. Thank you. Any questions?
Comments, questions?
Mark, how much, I mean, you're obviously fairly busy, and I think with the less building permits we've seen, we kind of get the humps and the valleys, so I think this kind of has been a slower time for this code enforcement office as to when we're in some of our building peaks, but how would you fit this into your schedule? How much time do you think you have available to kind of do something like this?
I'll do them as time permits. I could maybe squeeze one a day in if I have to, but maybe not that many. I don't know. I feel it's well worth it. I think it's nice for the office to do more than just talk about codes and land use and look for violations. I think it's a positive thing that the office can do to help folks out. I think one a day is realistic. I could do one in an hour. They're not that thorough. It's really a training session. Maybe it would evolve into getting little classes or something. I could put together a slideshow or something, do one here, and just get people thinking about it and get people interested.
Sounds like a great opportunity for a public service.
Yeah.
Those videos.
Have video, have him doing one and then playing that out.
Yep. And then what about doing some web tips? The CEOs, we have the CEO's webpage. And if you have kind of these common areas that people should probably be looking at.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about that. This program and beyond. I was thinking about, I've read about some catastrophes lately about toddlers drowning in swimming pools, and I'd like to maybe do something about, remind people how to protect their pools and guardrails and handrails on decks and elevated walking surfaces that are unprotected where people can fall over. And, we've seen decks that have collapsed, and I think Lieutenant Fraser was at one at the Sugarloaf. But he happened to be there. It was good that he and some other safety personnel happened to be on right around there. But those things happen, and a lot of that stuff can be avoided if little maintenance, little common sense. But the way decks were built 15 years ago, they just nailed the plate to the building and then they put up the handrails and they left. Well, those fasteners rust. They rust, they pull out of the buildings, and they get 15 people at some celebratory event on those decks, and they've only been having 3 or 4 people on them in the last 10 years, and they collapse. They fall apart. So those kind of things we can maybe be help to people with decks and pools, electrical problems, and the way pool pumps are connected to the electrical grid, and we shouldn't be using the 50-foot orange electrical extension cord. They should be wired correctly. Yes?
Does the town own a bunch of these, or are you proposing to buy a bunch of these?
Efficiency Maine sent, I think, 2 or 3 of those to every library in the state.
Okay, is that something that a person can check out for a week?
Check it out, it's like a book.
And from the library, is
Yeah,
that?
right from the Waterboro Library.
Okay. And, okay, good. And how much would, if a person doesn't return one of these, how much does one of these cost?
I don't know. Can't be much.
You got an arm going up in the back that might have the answer.
Hi.
Hi, about the library, I haven't heard anything about this in a year or so, but when we first got them, some of them did not come back.
Oh, really?
And so I think you need to check to find out how many we actually have at the moment, because I don't know that we have what was given to us to begin with.
I know, I saw one last week, an employee here had one that he took home, and
I hope they've come back, but there was a
Yeah.
time when they hadn't, so I just want you to.
I'll definitely get a couple more from Efficiency Maine.
Well,
They seem to be looking for ways to spend their money now, because they've
Yep,
had some
go ahead,
tremendous rebate programs.
I also have a question mark around public safety. I'm very concerned about dryer fires. And I don't know what I can do about it. I hear kits advertised, but it seems to me if you were going to have a page with various public safety issues, that a lot of fires get started in
Yeah.
dryers. I mean, I will not leave it on when I leave the house,
Well,
but I don't
wouldn't-
know how to get a snake through there to clean out that.
It's not a good idea.
So that's just something.
I think I would invite the fire inspector or anyone from the fire department to weigh in on those
Okay.
questions
But
too.
if we have kind of a public safety page on the town website,
That'd be
that's
good.
something you, the fire department, Sean, you know,
I agree.
okay.
And Sean could
Subject
use,
we gotta
Sean
talk
could use
about.
it to say, I'm gonna be enforcing speed on Roberts Ridge Road.
Anything that the board?
Well, the discussion here was to discuss and vote to allow energy surveys to be conducted by the code officer, so I guess what's the pleasure of the board?
I'd make a motion that we allow that to take place.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded, no discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion carries.
Just to kind of add on to that, Dennis, I know one thing that we kind of threw out last week when we were talking about it a little bit was people that are getting general assistance for heating. I think that they should be priority on the list. And Nancy Johnson, when she's interviewing those folks, maybe setting something up where we could get Mark in to see those people, because that isn't saving just one taxpayer, that's saving all of us if we can help folks that are getting some general assistance to knock some of their bills down.
I think as long as she gets a notice to me without breaching the
Right.
confidentiality,
Right.
that'd be.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be handled in accordance with all of
Right.
the rules and regulations in and around general assistance. Anything else? Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. And Mark's, like a lot of other folks here, the phone numbers have changed, extensions. Mark can now be reached at extension 120. We'll talk about that when we do announcements, or when we do reminders. All right. Selectmen's reports. Started that in? Nothing? Kim, Joe?
Nope.
David?
Does the town want to follow up? I mean, some of these towns have written to the county commissioners on this issue of supporting,
Oh, the all or none.
yeah. I mean, I appreciate these towns stepping up and saying, hey, you know, you guys are being a little bit a bunch of jerks, you know?
Well, we sent our vote in. We can certainly follow that up with a very similar piece of communications that we've seen now a number of other municipalities, which is, you know, it's all or nothing is not really an approach to take here, but,
Right.
so.
I just wonder about the other members, how they feel about it.
I would support that.
So let's, we'll put something together and have it in a packet next week for everybody to thumbs up, and we'll go from there. John, anything? Okay. Town administrator's report.
I just want to let everybody know that the applications for the tax club are available. We have them here. I'm not sure if David's got them online yet or not, but they are available. And we have received word that the old Alfred Road will have a coat of pavement over it.
Is there one online?
Tomorrow morning, I have a representative from our insurance company, and they're gonna come down to look at the Taylor House, Pearl Street Station, and a couple of other properties and town-owned buildings. The audit, pre-work was completed on the check recs and accounts, and they look very good. And they will be back in August after the approval deadline of August 1st. So far, everything is looking good. And of course, we have a new phone system in place, and we're asking people to be patient because it's a learning curve for everybody in here. And of course, we'll probably have to tweak it a little bit, but like yesterday, being in here, everybody's phone was set at the same ring and at the same volume. And with just only a few of us in here, it was like, telephones were everywhere. So I went out and started changing the rings and toning them down a little bit, but yeah, it's a learning curve for everybody. And on this Thursday, we are going to be closed from noon to 1 for a staff meeting.
All right, any questions, comments? Moving into new business, discuss the vote to approve the renewal of spirituous liquor license for fraternal order of the Eagles. What's the board's pleasure?
We had in our packets, the inspections were done, but do we know if there's been any complaints?
No, they're recommending approval. I haven't seen any complaints at all.
No, usually we get like from the sheriff's department or whatnot, if there were any calls to go there. Anything that we know of?
And this must be, they must hold multiple licenses, right? This is for spirits, not malt or not beer and wine. That must be a separate license. This one is specifically marked for spirituous license. I assume they have a license for malt and vinous as well?
Usually it's one license, but I think the spirits is like the maximum, so if they have that, they can do the other.
Okay.
But I can
I'm
check.
not sure why the state has got all three listed unless they,
I can check with them.
okay.
Well, some
I always
places
thought
only
malt
serve
was-
beer.
Malt was beer and
Right, malt.
spirit was like the liquor and
Right.
Yeah, but this
the
is
other
a
was
hard liquor
wine.
license, this doesn't, it's,
Yeah, but I mean, there are some like pizza places that serve just beer. They
Right.
don't serve the others, so
Right.
that's why there may be.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that just because you check off spirituous, that you get the other two by default.
No, they have to be included.
So it would be nice to understand that, but, so what's the
well, we
board's,
have time to get that clarified from them. I mean, today's the 17th and this, we could,
Spry is 31st.
yeah.
So,
We've always, I mean, this has been the time when we've checked with health and fire. So I guess, so the question is have they been there in the past?
yeah, there's a report in the packet, John,
Okay, didn't see that.
from both Mark and Mike Frazier, so.
Okay. Then I'll move that we grant, that we accept their application.
Do I have a second?
I'll second for discussion.
It's been moved and seconded to grant the renewal. Discussion.
I'd just like to get the clarification on, do they need all of them?
Well, if we
Do we
approve it
trust what
tonight,
they
all they're
need?
gonna get is this one.
Right.
So, I guess if
Well-
they need something else, they gotta come back.
Yeah, I mean, this is what they've asked for, so, you know.
Yeah, it's not for us to
Figure it out.
administer their process, right? Any other discussion? Sensing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Item 2, discuss and vote town employee appointments. This would be for tax collector, motor vehicle, welfare, town clerk, treasurer, and all of the deputies thereof. So what is your pleasure? There is a list in the packet.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and I'm going to read these because I assume that's what the motions were for. That Sharon Reed be appointed to tax collector and deputy town clerk. Brenda Kerner be appointed to motor vehicle agent, deputy tax collector, and deputy town clerk. That Nancy Johnson be appointed to welfare director, deputy town clerk, deputy tax collector, and deputy register of voters. That Yvette Murray be appointed to town clerk, register of voters, and deputy tax collector. That Christina Silberman be appointed to deputy clerk and deputy tax collector. That Julie Giles be appointed to town treasurer. And that Nancy Brandt be appointed to deputy town clerk, deputy tax collector, and deputy treasurer. If there's any discussion contrary to that. Okay, sensing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Item 3 under new business. Discuss and vote on the Selectmen committee assignments. We just happen to have about 6 copies here. I'll get one I can do. So,
I'd like to keep the same ones that I have right now because I'm working on some things.
okay,
So,
any other comments?
I'll make a motion that we accept the list as is, continued.
The only one that doesn't have an appointment is community garden.
I would amend my motion to say, recommend the list as is with the removal of the question mark for the community garden and, I think you wanted that, right?
No.
Oh, you-
Christina put me in there, she volunteered me.
Oh,
I no,
okay.
no.
Okay, that's,
Only because the York County Budget Committee, I know we're gonna be setting 2 budgets in the next 6 months, so I know that that is going to keep me very, very busy come fall.
So is there are you looking to offload
I just don't wanna take on any more.
Okay, I'd be happy to take on the garden.
Okay. So with the modification that John Gale be the liaison to the community garden committee? Is everybody okay with that?
I'll amend my motion to include that.
Okay. And do we have a second? David seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. So, for the record, Finance Committee, I will remain the liaison there, as well as the Transfer Station Committee, along with John, 2020.
I will take a more active, I've kind of deferred that one to you, but I'll get a little more active.
2020 Planning Committee liaison is both David and I will do the same with David, as I'll try to take a little more active role there. Planning Board is David. Library Board of Trustees is John Gale. Parks and Rec, John Gale. Cemetery Committee, John Gale. Conservation Committee liaison, Tammy Jo Gerard. Economic Development Committee liaison, Tammy Jo Gerard. Road Review Committee, Tammy Jo Gerard. Charter Review Commission, Gordon is actually appointed to that commission, but he's also the liaison. Old Home Days Committee, Gordon. Public Safety Commission, Gordon. And the Community Garden is now John. Okay,
And you've also got 12
did
town.
I miss one?
Well, Christina had given us an updated list, there's also
okay.
12 town and the budget committee, I'm doing those too.
You are appointed, right, to the
Yep.
to the budget committee. Okay, item 4 on new business, discuss vote on MMA annual election for vice president and executive committee. I believe what you see is what you've got on the ballot. So the proposed nomination is Peter Nielsen, Town Manager of Oakland, as Vice President for one term, and 3 directors. John Butler Jr., who's a counselor in Lewiston, Michael Crocker, who's Town Manager of Glenburn, and Marianne Moore, who is a counselor in the city of Calais. Unless someone has someone else they'd like to write in, what's your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Old business. Discuss the vote on use of library garden donation account funds. Presuming that this is back because we need to endorse this.
Well, technically it was covered underneath the article
Right.
at annual town meeting, but we do have a written authority from Willis to use that funds.
And that was my one question was, can we expend those funds without some kind of an official town meeting vote or whatnot? Are we okay to spend that?
Yes, because we have to donate to spend donations.
Now, have we made any progress on the painting?
Well, the painting will have to go out to,
Go to bid.
go out to bid. And I think the connection there is to get the front at least painted, right?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Bridget.
Bridget McCallum, trustees. I talked with Ruth Blake, the librarian, this week, and for everyone's information, she's not going to have surgery right now. She's going back, she is improving, and she's going back to physical therapy. But she said that she doesn't have any bids at the moment, so that you need to reopen that and open it up for public bidding. And my request, because of the garden project, was if there are limitations on the amount of money that we have to spend right now at the beginning of the fiscal year, can we at least get the front done? So that's, she doesn't have any bids.
Yeah, my opinion is that if we bid it out to paint the building, right, you're gonna get a better price than if we say, let's just bid out the
Piecemeal.
front, okay? So, but there's no reason that we can't put it out and say the front needs to be painted first, right?
That was what I meant,
Okay,
not to just have a bid for the front.
But even if it gets split up, if we only do, like right now, do the front and then they can get to the back, you know, a later time.
But I
so
think
that's
the
gotta
whole-
be written into the bid specs, so.
Some flexibility and time.
Seeing as how you're on a short runway here,
Mm-hmm.
you get with Ruth and see if we can get. Okay, so we'll have to pull that together between Nancy and Ruth on the painting. So what's your pleasure on this, allowing the fund to be used?
So moved.
Been moved,
Second.
seconded, to allow the use of the donations for the gardens of the library to be used for the library gardens. Any discussion?
Can I just add that they will be following our purchase order policy and everything?
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So be it.
Thank you.
I'd entertain a motion for warrants and bills for payroll.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Minutes of 7:10, regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
On the second to last page, number 5, discuss vote to remove Connolly Point from the snowplow list. It says Selectman Gale moved to remove Connolly Point, seconded by Selectman Gale.
He can't do
I'll
that.
check. I'll revise them for on next time.
Okay. So, in that event, they need to be modified.
I believe I seconded it.
We'll forego the vote. Pardon?
I'll remove my second.
All right. For some reason, my right, pending decisions, public service announcement, sounds like we might have opportunity for an additional one this evening with the code officer. As soon as we have a better understanding of Clint's return, we'll work the one that we've talked about there at the transfer station. Driveway opening permit language,
Yeah, it's still in limbo with Doug.
how about we bring in the Mr. Mitchell as well?
And I know that we've got one this week
Right.
that Doug just
So maybe,
denied, so
maybe they could,
I'll kind of organize that.
board and committee status, all right, this is current, right? Here is what we need, folks. If you have an interest in volunteering for a committee in the municipality, we have a fair hearing committee that has 2 vacancies, zoning board of appeals with 1 vacancy, the 2020 master planning committee, which was discussed earlier here tonight, has 1 vacancy. Finance committee, 2 vacancies. Planning board has 2 vacancies, one is a regular and one is an alternate, I'm sorry. Parks and Rec committee, 4 vacancies. Conservation committee, 2 vacancies. Transfer station recycling committee, 1 vacancy. Rotary committee, 1 vacancy. Board of trustees, 1 vacancy. Hiring panel, 12 vacancies. Saco River community television committee, 1 vacancy, which is an alternate member. Economic Development Committee, we're looking for another full committee of 7, so we have 7 vacancies. In the Public Safety Committee, we're looking to reestablish that committee, and it has 9 vacancies. So if you have a interest in serving the community in one of those, or 2 of those committees interest you, please,
Did you say 12 vacancies on the hiring committee?
no, 4.
Oh, I'm gonna say.
It was at one point.
Oh, please.
Okay, so this week's actions, not sure, other than us to try to see if we can corral what Sean needs for signs, and we can get with Doug on that and see if we can pull that stuff out. I think really not an urgent action, but Mark needs to get with Ruth to see if in fact they've got any of those energy things at the library. Discussion of agenda items for next week.
I'd like to see a plan for a time for reviewing last year's goals and seeing which ones need to be changed, and going through that. It may not be need to be as complicated as it's been in the past, but if we set aside an hour or a couple of hours, we can go over last year's goals,
So
what needs to be
we'll
updated.
put it on the agenda to discuss
Yep.
and schedule.
Set a schedule.
Anything else? We might have the Goodwin,
Yeah, we might have that.
okay.
You got Charter Commission.
Charter Commission has
request-
asked that we
Come in.
meet, but they want to have a workshop with us on the 31st, right? 31st.
Thursday.
So we've scheduled the fire hydrant thing for Lake Arrowhead. We're gonna squeeze Charter Commission in for a half hour before that one. So we'll have to condense our meeting to a half hour that night.
Can you change the date when you till the 31st for the meeting with the Charter Commission?
Yeah. What to do?
I confirmed that with Diane. She thought the 24th was your last meeting of the month. She didn't realize there was a 31st in July, so she wants it
Yeah,
on the
because
31st.
I was at the meeting last night and we set the 24th as the,
I've been in touch with her today. She meant the 31st, the same night as your other workshop.
okay.
Okay. Anything else for the next week's agenda? Something I'm sure will come up. Okay, items needing signature and payrolls, signatures is just warrants and bills. We'll forego the minutes. and the liquor license. Okay, I just signed that. Okay, reminders. Should have said this during the
Mr. Chairman,
announce, yes?
could I ask, under pending decisions, that the employee contracts be put on there? Because last week, we just said that we wanted copies of the contracts to review, and I believe the town administrator has sent those to us, but we don't have anywhere for follow-up on that, so if
Okay.
they could be added to pending, I'd appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you.
we'll do that.
Is that Sunday, or is somebody hungry?
Excuse me?
We've got thunderstorm warnings until,
Like every now
Yeah,
and
and
then.
I
there's a big
apologize
one.
because I skipped over a couple of pending actions, water district, office space,
They didn't bring that over yet? I thought they was gonna sign up this week.
internet and electronic mail policy revisions.
I got David's revisions Friday, so I'll put them,
And the barriers to prohibit vehicles from driving on the beach that's being worked, right?
try to,
Okay?
hey, could I add one other thing? I made copies of this for the selectmen, Richard Neal, Dick Neal. He has written a book, not book, a handout, or whatever you wanna call it, a little book, I guess, for municipal management and finances for town officials. And he was offering a free complimentary copy, so I had him send one, so I got
Nice.
one for each one of you.
Thank you.
So we actually might know what we're doing the next time we put together a budget.
Is that something that might be suitable for members of the finance committee too, or is it geared more towards elected?
No, it's more towards municipal management and finance, more towards the selectmen. And, you know, he points out a good thing where there really isn't anything out there for, you can go to all kinds of workshops and things, but there's not much out there except through MMA for municipal training or information, so he put together this.
Okay, anything else, Nancy?
That's it.
All right, reminders, and as I said, probably we should have said at the beginning here in announcements, and Nancy covered it a little bit, but if you're looking for extension numbers for the employees in the municipality, in the town office, probably really need to go to the web page now to get them. There is a option on the phone that you can put in the first two letters of an employee, and it'll bring them up, or it'll list. In Nancy's case, I guess there's multiple Nancy's,
Two.
so you'll hear that, which one, and all you have to do is hit pound, and that's the one you go to. So, and if you get put on hold, and you're on hold for more than 5 minutes, just hang up.
I did that to him. I couldn't figure out how to
They
get him off
lost-
hold.
They lost me, and I was in the on hold abyss or something. Okay, not on the agenda here listed, but road review committee meeting tomorrow night at 6 p.m., and it is a continuation of their traveling workshop. So they'll be meeting tomorrow night at 6. Monday night the 23rd, 6:30 p.m., Transfer Station and Recycling Committee at the Old Town Hall. Monday the 23rd at 6:30 p.m. in the Community Garden Committee, the Old Town Hall. Tuesday next week, Selectmen's Report, Road Review Committee and Road Commissioner here in this room. Next Wednesday the 25th, 7 p.m., there's a planning board site walk. I'm not sure where that is. 55 Betty Lane. Thursday the 26th, 11:30 a.m. is the senior luncheon that Mike had mentioned earlier tonight at the Snowmobile Club. Thursday, July 26th, 6:30 p.m. Old Home Days Committee at the Old Town Hall. Saturday the 28th, 8:30 a.m. the Cribbage Tournament in the Old Town Hall. And 2 weeks from tonight, July 31st, we will have a selectmen's meeting. We're going to forego the reports and have a short meeting, and then we have 2 workshops, one with the the Charter Commission and one with the folks in Lake Arrowhead, fire department and whatnot on fire hydrants in Lake Arrowhead. That all being said, anything that I miss? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you.